Okay, so now on to question number 2. Write the common names for the amines shown below. So they have two different groups. So the person asking this question got these answers wrong. Okay, so first I'm just going to write down the first structure. So I'll write it as A, H3C, Okay, so since the question asks to write the common names for the amines shown below, we know that this amine group will be our parent. Then I'll just show it here. So this is our parent. And then connected to the amine are two side groups. So the first is a methyl group. And then the other one is an ethyl group. Okay, so there are two ways of writing down the names for these amines. So I'm going to write down the first, where you write down N as kind of like the prefix. So that just shows, that just means that there's an amine group involved. And then next, it's going to be methyl ethamine. I think it's methyl ethanamine. Let me just rewrite this. So N, methyl ethanamine. Okay, so I'll explain why when you write it in this kind of form, it's not in alphabetical order. And that's just because when you write this N group, it shows that the methyl is your substituent, and this ethyl part is part of like the parent. So that's just one way you can write it in this form. When you take into account, when you write down the N at the beginning, this whole thing is your parent, and you get ethanamine, and then your methyl is the substituent. But you can also write it in this way. So or ethyl methyl amine. So this is kind of like an easier way. You don't have to write the N, and then this is when you would do your alkyl groups in alphabetical order. So that's kind of the hint that they give in the question. So first, name the alkyl groups. Keep in mind that the term methyl indicates 1. Consider which prefix indicates 2. List the alkyl groups in alphabetical order, followed by the term amine. So your answer will have the general form alkyl, alkyl, amine. And that's where we got this ethyl, methyl, amine. So the reason why the person that asked got this question wrong is because they kind of combined these two common names together. Like they put the N at the beginning, but then they did the alphabetical order way, which is ethyl methyl amine. So if you're going to do it the N way, then you have to take into account this ethyl group as kind of like part of the parent, and then the methyl is the side chain. And then if you want to do it the way that the question kind of gives you a hint at doing it, then that's the one where you go in alphabetical order. So let's practice this like kind of concept and look at the second part of the question. So it's like a similar thing. You have H3C-CH2, and then your amine in the middle, CH2, CH3. Okay, so now I'm just gonna circle my groups. In this case, we have 2 ethyl groups involved. So we can't really test out that alphabetical order way since they're the same. But we can still write it in the 2 forms. So both of these answers are correct. There's a lot of different ways that you can name compounds. And if I were to do it the way that has the N at the beginning, it would be ethyl ethanamine. Or if you want to do it like the other way, in this case, since there's 2 ethyl groups, I'm going to be using the prefix di. Diethylamine. Okay, so that's the second part. And then both of these compounds, I'll just write down, are secondary amines. So this just means their N is attached. Totally spelled that wrong. Attached to 2 R groups, 1 hydrogen. Okay, so let's look at the answer that our junior tutor wrote. The common name of aliphatic tertiary amine is obtained by writing the names of alkyl groups in alphabetical order, which is followed by the word amine. So this is the second way of writing it. If 2 or 3 alkyl groups are same, the prefix di or tri is added respectively before the name of the alkyl group. So the explanation was right, but it looks like the answer that is given here is they're not the same compounds as the ones given in the question. So here, let's just look at their example anyways so that we can kind of practice. So here they have a butyl group, a methyl group, and an ethyl group. Ethyl methyl butylamine. I don't think there's supposed to be an N there. But this triethylamine is correct. So I'm just going to say that answer is partly correct. First compound is ethyl methyl amine, and second is, I'll just say diethyl amine.